What's up, Melanated family? This is your boy Harrison, man, bringing you a brand new episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. How's everybody doing today, man? It's a brand new year, top of 2021. Same old shit, different day, you know what I mean? A lot of stuff going on in the news, a lot of stuff going on in the country. This is my first show of the new year, man. I'm excited about it, you know what I mean? Let's get everything popping. A brother's been having these lower back issues, all this bullshit. It's like, I know I'm getting older, but damn, you know what I mean? All my 40-plus people, all my 40-year-olds out there can feel what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Once I turned 40, feel like everything started breaking down on me. You know what I mean? So I've been dealing with some little lower back pains, and I'm finally over now. So let's get it popping, family. First show of 2021. How everybody doing, man? Y'all got some bullshit ass New Year's resolutions where you gonna stop eating so much, you're going to start working out, you know what I mean? Some shit you should have been doing anyway, but that's good, though, to create something that is something that you can use moving forward. And the new year is always a good time to start that, so I'm not going to shit on it. If you want to lose weight, you trying to, you know what I mean, get a new job, whatever goals we got set for 2021, let's get it popping, man. So if this is your first time tuning into the show, I do a few things here, right? The first thing we do here is we always talk about black businesses. It's extremely important to me when we look at our economy, when we look at everything we go through in this country. If you care about your people, one of the ways you can help out is by supporting a black business, not an unqualified black business. Like, I don't want you to give your money to somebody just because they black, but the caveat is they're a qualified black business. So they got a good website, they got good reviews, you know, somebody who got one of the product came on time. So we constantly looking at all this shit, right? Like, we work hard for our money, so I'm not going to give you my money just because you black. It's more of a tiebreaker, meaning I can get that same service you offering somewhere else, but the tiebreaker is you look like me. You feel me? So we talk about black business on the show. We talk about different news stories. I find news stories, things that are going on in the community that I find interesting. We talk about them, we dissect them, see why it's good for us, see why it isn't. And this is just my take on things, right? But in general, all y'all should be looking at some form of news. Maybe you don't like CNN, maybe you don't like Fox, because they all be full of shit if we want to keep it real, but you need to be reading on something. You need to find some news sources that you find reliable, just so you can have a understanding of what's going on, because I'm not hella deep into politics or some of these things I'm reading, but it's just important that we know, right? It's important that we get a handle on what the hell going on out here so we can be aware, you feel me? And also on the show, every show, I have a topic. That topic typically pertains to parenting, the relationships we find ourselves in with women or men, these type of things, everything going on in our society when it comes to dealing with us. That's why the name of the show is the Melanated Convo podcast. It's a fancy way of saying black information, what goes on in our community. We live in a society where we're 13% of the population. So at times, if you watch TV, if you cut on the news, you're not seeing a clear representation of what you go through specifically. So shows like this and other shows like this are designed to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in your community, right? So let's get everything popping, family. First things first, black businesses. This is a business I talked about a couple weeks in the past, but I bought some stuff from them, so I really support them, you know what I mean? So melaninapparel.com. I'm really heavy on my black shit. Like, I'm always trying to wear clothes and be stylistic to a point where it represents who I am and who we are as people, right? Like, I'm real prideful in who we are, and I love that, and I think all of us should be. So go to Melanin Apparel, where at Melanin Apparel, like I said before, there's several t-shirts, sweaters, all inspired by black pride, all inspired by individuals who have came before us, who have inspired our culture. So a lot of things concerning Africa and our home country, because whether or not, you know, because some people will say that we are the Indians, right? Like, we were here. We are the indigenous people that were here before the whole slavery shit popped off. That's possible. But the people that were here, where they come from, you know what I mean? They come from Africa. So at the bottom line, so at the end of the day, we all come from Africa. You know what I mean? So it's important that we understand that and not see it as just some faraway place we don't have a connection to. True. we don't have a homeland there as far as our family members and different things like that. We can't really link it to a family or a tribe. Most of us can't. You can try all these DNA test shit, but you don't know how real this shit is. You know what I mean? But in general, it's important for us to get connected with who we are as a culture, who we are as people, and that's something that Melanin Apparel does a really good job of. So if you go to melaninaapparel.com right now, again, shirts, sweaters, handbags for women, throw pillows, blankets, all these items will have like Malcolm X on it. It'll have a map of Africa on it. It'll have power to the people on it. All these slogans, all these affirmations that are good for us. You know what I mean? So go to melaninaapparel.com. Get you some clothes today. Free shipping for all orders over $100. That's melaninaapparel.com. We got the money. We spend billions of dollars every year with Gucci, with Fendi, with Nike, with Adidas, all these goddamn all these goddamn companies who don't really fuck with us like that if we want to keep it real. You know what I mean? So it's important that we support businesses of people who look like us, because it's my opinion that if we become extremely independent financially, then we can get rid of a lot of the shit that's happening to us. If we were to get our money up, then we wouldn't necessarily have to deal with a lot of the racism, a lot of the injustices that we face if we kind of bring our money together to make a movement. So it's like a call to action to support people who look like you. You feel me? So that's melaninaapparel.com. Free shipping on all orders over $100. They always have new arrivals. They have different collections, a revolutionary collection, a protest collection, a Melanin Love collection, a Black Pride collection, Malcolm X collection. So they get it in, man. Go to the website today, see if you can find something you like. You feel me? Now, next black business. Let me see here. No. Next black business is a company called theblackdollarstore.com. You heard me right. Theblackdollarstore.com. At this website, which, keep in mind, family, all these websites I send y'all to, I shop at these places myself. You know what I mean? So I'm not just going to send you somewhere that I'm not a supporter of or who I haven't experienced the quality of their service, their customer service, how they actually get down. So, you know what I mean? These are official businesses. So if you go to theblackdollarstore.com, on this website, not only will you find shoes, they have a lot of shoes, like original shoes inspired by our struggle, just like I was just saying. A lot of clothing, there's watches, there's accessories, there's backpacks, TVs, whatever you need, right? So it's literally a website designed for us. Like I was mentioning, some of the clothes and things of that nature is inspired by our struggle and the things that we've been through. But a lot of it is just regular everyday shit that you may need. Different types of electronics, drones, sunglasses, different types of jewelry. You feel me? Earbuds, children's watches, scooters, just different everyday items that we all use. But these is black folks, and they selling it to us at really good prices. So if you go to, this damn energy drink is running through me, theblackdollarstore.com, theblackdollarstore.com. If you sign up for the newsletter, you can get like 10% off of everything that you order on that particular day. So please go to that website today. This is the website where I bought shoes from, and I get a lot of compliments from these shoes. These shoes are athletic running shoes, and they're inspired by revolution. So it's like the Malcolm X runners, or the African Pride trainers, all these type of names, right? Which I find to be cool. And the shoes is hella comfortable, more comfortable than the Jordans I got. You know what I mean? Just to keep it real. And these shoes is less than half the price of a pair of Jordans. So go to theblackdollarstore.com. Shop with your people, man. You get free shipping on all orders over $75. If you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get 10% off. So that's free shipping. Then you can get that extra 10% off if you just sign up for the newsletter and put in your email. That is theblackdollarstore.com. Shop with your people. We spend a lot of money with people outside of our community. If you want to be a revolutionary person, if you don't like the shit you see going on in politics, if you don't like how the police treat us, there is several different ways. I always tell people there are several different ways you can be effective in our society when it comes to black struggle. And one of those ways is shopping with black businesses. We need to realize how important Black Wall Street was. We need to realize how important, like, circumventing all your funds together and creating an economy where you don't really need people outside of your community. That's the shit right there. So that's what we need to get back to. That's why it's important that we support black businesses. So it's theblackdollarstore.com. Go there today. Get you some kicks, get you some jewelry, get you some sunglasses. They got it all popping. You feel me? Now, let's go to the news stories. Family, I'm excited, man. I'm good to be back, man. It's my first show of 2021. Oh, if you haven't done so before, please go to the this show will be on Facebook, but I'll put it on YouTube as well. I have a YouTube channel, which is melanatedfatherstv.com. My bigger platform is Melanated Fathers of America, in which case that is a website which is currently being reconstructed, which is melanatedfathers.com is the website. However, like I said, the website is currently being reconstructed. On the website, you typically find some of the news stories I talk about here. You find articles about parenting. You find different information about people from history that I find important, that I think the family need to know about. On the website, we always have a book of the month. You feel me? So it's a hub for the black family, so we can get information, so we can get inspiration, so we can get things going. You feel me? And that's melanatedfathers.com. Like I said, the site is being reconstructed right now. It should be back up within a few weeks. I'm getting everything tweaked on it, so it can be good for the family. So let's get everything going, man. And like I said, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's Melanated Fathers TV on YouTube. If you're not a friend of mine on Facebook, please subscribe to Melanated Fathers or Melanated Fathers of America is my page on Facebook. Go to that page, like that page as well. You feel me? So let's get everything popping, family. The news stories for the day is what we're going to do first. So I'm sure, unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure everybody is aware by now of how the Capitol building has been stormed by rioters. Some could be white supremacist groups. We're not sure. They saying it's just rioters, but who knows who was actually in that group of people, right? So the U.S., and I'll read a little article about what actually took place, family. So the U.S. Capitol is once again secured, but 4 people are dead, including one woman who was shot after supporters of President Donald Trump breached one of the most iconic American buildings, engulfing the nation's capital in chaos after Trump urged his supporters to fight against the ceremonial counting of the electoral votes that will confirm President-elect Joe Biden's win. Now, shortly after 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, hundreds of pro-Trump protesters pushed through barriers set up along the perimeter of the Capitol, where they tussled with officers in full riot gear. Now, some call on the officers traitors for doing their jobs. About 90 minutes later, police said demonstrators got into the building and the doors to the House and Senate were being locked. Shortly after, the House floor was evacuated by police. Vice President Mike Pence was also evacuated from the chamber, where he was set to perform his role in the counting of the electoral votes. Now, an armed standoff took place at the House front door about 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and police officers had their guns drawn at someone who was trying to breach it. A Trump supporter was pictured standing at the Senate dais earlier in the afternoon. A woman who, I think she's been identified at this point, was shot and later died. Rest in peace to that lady. That was a Caucasian lady who died in the midst of all this. So I'll quit reading the article, but check it out, family. Here's the goddamn thing, right? So we understand that if this would have been all black people, so we have the same incidents, right, where Trump, who does this dog whistling shit, where he says things but don't say it to kind of incite certain members of his following, right? So he incited this shit, in my opinion. So we have all of these people forcing their way into the Capitol building. There's video of it and everything, right, family? And what we have to understand, because I come on my platform and I talk about racism, because I come on my platform and I talk about the different injustices that we face, and I would prefer just to come on and talk about black empowerment, come on and discuss what's going on in our community, whether it be fun issues, whether it be entertainment issues. I'm willing to dig into all that. The Melanated Convo is talking about a conversation about everything going on with black people, and that's entertainment, that's politics, that's having fun, that's the women, that's rap, that's everything that we enjoy, right? But when we have all of these racist ass incidents taking place, or all of these incidents involving race, it's important that we point that shit out. You feel me? And I got people telling me, Harrison, on your show, I like the show, but bro, you talk too much about race. It's not about race anymore. Things are a little more equal. You know what I mean? Everybody has all these different things they want to tell me, but how do we justify what we seen yesterday, right? So they rushed the Capitol building. Family, we've been watching protest after protest about Black Lives Matter, about everything we've been going on in this country, everything that has been going on in this country to us. We've been watching these protests for a little over a year now, about 2 years now, right? Look how they have been treating us in these protests, family. We getting tear gassed. We getting our ass kicked. We getting, some motherfuckers getting shot, right? So this is a clear example of the differences in the races in this country, family. Racism still fucking exists. That's why they can rush this Capitol building and none of them end up dead. Do you hear me? I'm watching this shit in disbelief. In my mind, the shots is about to start flaring and these motherfuckers just finna start dropping dead. No. So they rush the Capitol building. They find a way to get all up in the Capitol building. They taking pictures at desk and all kind of shit. This is white supremacy at its finest, family. People tell me to stop saying white supremacists. Let me break it down to you what white supremacy is, family. Does this mean white people are inherently smarter than us? No. We know this not to be the truth. Maybe the other way around if you want to keep this shit real. We don't mean that a white person just has the ability to be stronger than me, like they're a more supreme being. Not at all. But in this society, right? In this society, socially, hear me out, family. Socially, they are more supreme than us. Socially, they are supreme. Hence, while they can run to a fucking Capitol building and nobody died. Nobody gets shot. It's unfortunate that the white lady lost her life. She's like a victim of the circumstances or whatever. But let's be real, family. We get killed for having a goddamn soda. We get killed for walking around streets naked like something is wrong with us. We get killed for all these goddamn reasons. But these motherfuckers can run up to a Capitol building, nobody get harmed. Y'all just pointing guns at them. Now they saying, okay, we're going to see if they were Antifa. We finna see if there's some white supremacist groups that was in there. Come on, man. Come on, man. This shit is based on race. Family, let 100 black men, guns or not guns, let 100 black men run up to the Capitol building. They dying. Family, they dying. So the question remains, like, how do we break this type of shit down to our children? Like, what type of precedence is being set in this country where it's obvious if you white, you can do certain shit. If you white, you can get away with certain shit. You know what I mean? So we need to look, because the FBI has claimed, I was just watching the news, and the FBI has claimed that white supremacist groups are considered to be the biggest threat to the American populace. All this type of shit, right? That's not really true. I don't really think I think they put that out for everybody to be complacent, but in reality, excuse me, family, in reality, I don't think they believe that. Because if we look at the 60s in COINTELPRO and how they treated the Black Panther Party and other radical groups were considered a threat to the American social order, right? When they was considered a threat, what happened to them? They got raided. They damn near killed all of them. They infiltrated all of them. They put wires on them. They made sure they had coons going there, and you know what I mean? They did an all-out thrust to make sure they disassembled our goddamn movement. So you can't tell me that white supremacist groups are the biggest threat to the American populace when y'all allow them to run rampant. Y'all allow them to do what the fuck they want to do. And obviously, because they got to the point where they said, fuck it. We know how they treat us. We got cops. While all of this is going on, right? Yesterday at the Capitol building, while all of this is going on, we got cops taking selfies with some of the white men who ran up in there. Come on now, family. This is white privilege at its best in the news, and everybody is all up in arms about this shit. But y'all let this happen, man. What do you think was going to happen? What do you think was going to happen if you handle these people with kid gloves? One day the shit's really going to pop off. You know what I mean? So they got all the politicians that was in there, they had to evacuate. Some of Trump's cabinet has resigned because they scared, like, what the fuck is going on? But come on, man. And then Trump has since all of this has happened, he comes out now and kind of concedes that he lost the election. He comes out now and kind of says how, hey, everybody calm down. But initially, he told his supporters, with his dog whistling, he told his supporters, some shit is going down on Wednesday. Make sure y'all be there. Make sure y'all be there. We know what that means. You see what I'm saying? So they stormed the goddamn Capitol. I'm kind of happy this shit happened, man. This country just may have to implode on itself before we can really move forward and do some shit that's productive. You see what I'm saying? Because right now, when it comes to politics on a high level, I don't really believe in it, family. You feel what I'm saying? I don't really believe in it because Biden is a piece of shit just like Trump was. Now, they're different. They're different type of white racist men, but it's the same shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they should have ran into the Capitol today. We got a white racist problem in this country. Deal with that shit. The same way you dealt with Black Panthers. The same way you dealt with Martin Luther King. The same way you dealt with niggas when you felt we were too big of a problem for this country to deal with. I'm not telling the government to go around killing all these, but they can stop them if they wanted to. If white supremacist groups was the biggest threat to the American populace, they can stop this shit if they wanted to. They can stop this shit if they wanted to. Start raiding all their compounds. Start putting them in jail. Hit them with the little RICO Act, like y'all do us. Get all their friends. Raid they mama house. Raid their girlfriend house. Put them all on the ground. Make their ass look stupid. You feel me? Bring them all outside of their house and lay them all on the ground. Embarrass them. Ridicule them. The same way you do us. You see what I'm saying? So this is what this country gets, family. That's how I feel about it. This is what this country gets. We allowed Donald Trump to be the fucking president. Let's think about that. Let's think about that. Think about all this shit 30 years from now. Or 30 years ago. If we would have said Donald Trump, a fucking white, rich, billionaire reality star, a goddamn buffoon, would end up being the actual president of the United States. That's why we gotta look at who's behind the president. Like he's just an employee anyways. You know what I mean? But this country deserves exactly what the fuck happened. Because again, we all are calling out the double standard in how people in this country is treated. Family, I don't want to have to come on my show all the time and talk about racism or talk about the injustice, but fuck that. What are we supposed to do? All of us should be upset. When we see shit like this happen, all of us should be upset. Some of us who don't necessarily believe it's about race, or some of us who don't necessarily believe that it's as bad as you think it is. Yeah, family, it's as bad as you think it is, maybe even fucking worse. You see what I'm saying? It's clear. If you white in this country, you can pretty much do what the fuck you want to do. Period. Period. We need to be honest about that. You know what I mean? So look, this country is imploding on itself. We all are thinking everybody was supporting Joe Biden. Everybody was talking big shit about Joe Biden. Oh, we got a new president. Oh, we need to get Trump out of there. Man, what do you think is going to be different? Can somebody tell me that shit? I've been talking to people for 2, 3, 4 weeks now, and I'm tired of talking to motherfuckers on social media. Y'all be stupid. Give me some facts. What's going to be different? Fuck the warmy, fuzzy feeling of a new goddamn president. They're all white and racist. Shit, get that shit to your head, then maybe it'll be easier for you to compute. It's all game. It's political tricks, family. You don't think Donald Trump and Biden was arguing on TV and then go backstage and fucking have a beer, go backstage, talk. They go backstage and cut it right off. Get to asking about each other's wife, get to asking about how they doing. Once the camera rolling, now they fighting again. You see what I'm saying? Come on, man. Goddamn, everybody talking this Democrat and Republican shit. Even some black people I know will hit me with, hey, man, we've been voting Democrat for too long, baby. We've been voting Democrat for 50. We was Republicans at one point in time, assholes. We was Republicans at one. What the fuck does any of that matter? What the fuck does any of that really matter? Nothing. Don't get caught up in all that shit. Nothing. That don't really matter. Worry about your local politics. Worry about your goddamn community. Worry about what you can do inside of your community to make a difference. If it's about making a difference. Because I got a secret for you. When you voted for the president, you didn't really make a difference, family. It's a chance that your vote didn't even fucking count. You know that? You know that? You know how several elections have went where one person wins the popular vote and they still fucking lose? Exactly. Richard, same wings on the same bird. So, man, quit getting all up in arms about bullshit. That's what we're going to talk about today. After the news stories, we're going to hit our topic. The topic is going to be things we need to get rid of in 2020, like things we need to start doing in 2021. And I'm going to get on that in a little bit because that's true, man. We are so reactionary. God damn. We so fucking, we want everything to feel good. As long as something feel good, then we all with it. You know what I mean? I'm seeing people argue about all this shit that don't really affect your day-to-day life, family. Worry about the prosecutor. I did a show about a month ago about figuring out the elected prosecutors in your area. Figuring out who would be the next prosecutor and get an idea of who that person is. And, you know, because even with local elections, you still gambling. You know what I mean? But shit, the point I'm making is, what do you want to see happen? Like, if you really give a fuck, like I see everybody making sure they had the "I just voted" sticker. What the fuck did you vote for? Change? Huh? Is that what you wanted to happen when you voted? Something to change, right? Did you know you can be a part of the goddamn change? Do you know you can be a part of the change yourself? Like, without a fucking politician? Do you know you can go to the community you was raised in and help out? You can pick up trash. I had my homeboy, Sylvester Ware, on the show the other day. Sylvester is from Minnesota. He started an organization called Black Fathers Now, Black Father Nation. I apologize, family. He be out in Minnesota picking up trash. He be out in Minnesota setting up events to teach black fathers how to do their daughter's hair. Come on now, man. Do something. Fuck all this internet shit. You know what I mean? Fuck all this voting and this pandering, this making people... You want to feel like you're a part of something when you vote. I tell people I didn't vote. You know what I did? You know what I did? Yeah, you right. My ancestors, they didn't die for us to vote, by the way. Quit saying that stupid shit. They didn't die. They died for us to have better options. And if I see I don't have a good option, I'm not voting. You know what I did when I went behind that curtain? Because I voted. Oh, yeah, I did. You know who I voted for? Malcolm X, goddammit. That's who I wrote in. I do what the fuck I want to do. I wrote in Malcolm X. That's the kind of man I want to run this country. Think I'm going to vote for one of these white racist motherfuckers? Y'all got me fucked up. Don't be stupid. Do some reading about the Electoral College. Do some reading about the history of this country. Don't be so reactionary. Calm down. We all need to calm down, get the hell off the internet. We all need to calm down, get the hell off the internet, and do some reading. Like, be logical about the shit that you're looking at. You feel me? So, yeah, rioters or racist white men stormed the Capitol yesterday, and that's what the Capitol gets. That's what you get. And you should have shot a couple of them. Well, you should have shot a couple of them motherfuckers. Because if it was us, it would have been... If it was us, it would have been 50 black men shot today at the Capitol. We don't know what happened. You feel me? 9 have been pronounced dead. They would have been shooting the shit out of us if that was us. So yes, white supremacy exists in America. They show us. Now, if you don't want to believe it, that's on you. But shit, I know what I'm looking at. You feel me? Now, got me hot around this motherfucker, man. How they be treating us. All these coon motherfuckers acting like it's all hunky-dory. You feel me? Acting like we all together. Acting like it's some old kumbaya shit. When? When has this country been settled? When has it been cool to be black? When has it been okay to be black in this country? When has we walked the streets of America and there was no racism? Everything was fair. Everything was good. No. It's been different generations of the same bullshit, right? So, man, look, we got to talk about it. We got to call it out. I don't want to. I'd rather come on here and talk about relationships. Come on here and talk about fucking hip-hop like I love. You know what I mean? But nah. We need to be awoke. In 2021, everybody need to wake the fuck up. You ain't got to be on some rah-rah revolutionary shit, but love your people. Know about what's going on with your people. And stay the fuck on code, man. You know what I mean? We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Now, next news story. This is a good story, y'all. I'm going to calm down a little bit. This is more of a happy story, right? So Deion Sanders, which we all know, where's that story? All right. Deion Sanders, which we all know, is the head coach at Jackson State University, right? So he's the head coach at Jackson State University. This is the HBCU. Since the brother has became head coach, I think their social media page has went up like 80%. Ticket sales have went up like 90%. And for me, when I look at this, this is like and I salute the brother Deion, because let's be honest, he could have coached at a Big Ten school, he could have coached at a Pac-10 school, he could have ingratiated himself into that system, and which would have been good for him and good for his family. He would have helped some kids at this college, but as a community, it really wouldn't have helped us as much. You know what I mean? So it's important that we recognize how big of a oh really, Richard? That's dope, bro. That's dope. All of our kids who attend colleges should go to HBCUs. Now, we understand that a lot of the HBCUs is funded by white money. I mean, we can't get away from white daddy to a degree, you know what I mean? But you learn your history, you're around people who look like you, and they turn out like great professionals. As long as they don't get out of the college and negate the fact that they black. But typically that don't happen at HBCUs. If you notice, most, not all, most HBCU students leave the college, but they still have like a empowerment attitude. Like they understand how important it is to be black and how important it is for them to do something to help us all out. You know what I mean? So I bring up this story because Deion Sanders, who's the coach of Jackson State University, who is, to me, revolutionizing HBCUs. Think about if more black coaches or more star black athletes went to HBCUs, they can change that shit overnight. But the reason why I'm talking about this story is because his two sons, and this is big, y'all, we need to realize that his two sons are now gonna attend Jackson State. He has a son that's a quarterback, who's a 4-star athlete, who's a quarterback. He has another son who, let me see here, is transferring from South Carolina, who's a defensive player, who's transferring from South Carolina. So look at that, because we raise our children, and they get to college and get to be young men, and it shows what kind of young men they are, that they said, nah, we finna go rock with our pops at a HBCU. Because when we talk about getting into the NFL and these different things, we understand that going to a HBCU as it currently sits, you may end up not in the first round or something. You know what I mean? You may end up in a later round based on the competition that you face. You know what I mean? But let's think about how revolutionary of an act this is. Like how much he's actually taken a sacrifice to help our community. Because like I said, he could be teaching at a big white school. He could be teaching at a predominantly white school, or I'm sorry, coaching at a predominantly white school right now, but he chose to go to HBCU. What he's doing there and what he done by bringing his sons to that school reminds me of like what LeVar Ball done to a degree. Just a father who understands the importance of controlling the narrative. A father who understands the importance of, if I do this shit right that I'm doing right now, it not only will have a positive effect on me and my family, but everybody that's going to come behind us, right? So I think it's important as black folks that we get an understanding of how important our decisions are. Like to me, what Deion Sanders is doing, that's being on code with the black community. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. And I've always had respect for the brother. You know what I mean? He ain't never done no foul shit in my eyes. But just the fact that he said, nah, I'm going to go coach at an HBCU. Now he's bringing his kids. Hopefully, this sets a precedent. See, that's what we want. When it comes to breaking a door down, when it comes to starting a new trend, like, that shit always has to start somewhere. So hopefully we see, because I think there's another 4 or 5-star college football player who decided to go to a HBCU, either college football or basketball. But we need to get there, you know what I mean? Where we have a lot of our young men. But really, this is a household thing too, right? Like, this is my opinion. If we taught black empowerment in our households, if we taught black history in our household, if we talked about how important our impact in our communities are in our household, kids would respect that. Kids would see that and be more inclined to say, well, you know what? I got all these offers. I'm going to go to Grambling State. I'm going to go to Jackson State. You know what I mean? So salute to the brother Deion Sanders. I'm really astonished by what he decided to do. And I hope other members of our community, see how big of a move this is and follow suit. Again, we always talk about what we don't like, right? even I come on here a lot and talk about what's wrong with not just our community, but what happens to us in this country. This is a positive story. This is something that we should tell everybody. Like, make sure you tell people that Deion is at Jackson State, his son is there. We need to follow suit, basically. More of us need to realize how important it is to stick together, because that's all this is. Think about that, family. Think about if over the next 4 or 5 years, all of the, or half even, of the top recruits, because we talking about some black shit. These are black sports, whether they wanted football, basketball. These are sports dominated by predominantly black men. If we decided to go to HBCUs, if we decided to make our kids go to HBCUs, think about how much this would change everything. And hopefully, like it looks like Deion didn't have to make his kids, right? So to me, that's sign of good parenting. That's sign of children who understand the importance of the moment. You know what I mean? So hats off to the brother Deion Sanders, his sons, man. That's a beautiful thing that they decided to take their talent to a HBCU, and I'm sure others will follow. We all need to pray that others follow. You feel me? Now, on to the next story. Yeah, Richard, it seems like, so I would say, Richard, yesterday's event has done something to wake people up. Trump's presidency was a blessing in disguise if you really got your third eye open, because he showed us how outward white supremacy is necessary sometimes. We don't need covert white supremacists like a Joe Biden. We need the kind that tell you, yeah, nigga, I don't like you, what's up? Cool. For some of us who are in the history, some of us who have just find it fascinating to deal in these things, we see how this shit has always been this way. But you're right. For black folks who've been asleep, black folk who just been living a life not really thinking about the racism thing, it's important. All of this is important. 2020 should be an eye-opener for everybody, as well as Trump's presidency. You know what I mean? And like I said, this shouldn't make you want to go out. You ain't got to go out and, shit. You ain't got to go out and get a dashiki, you know what I mean, and start and put on the damn feds and start rocking that. But be aware. Just start being aware. Start loving your people. Like, that's first step in all of the shit. My podcast, my platform, it's kind of rooted in something basic. It's kind of rooted in just love. It's kind of rooted at looking at somebody that look just like you and begin with love. Now, we going to have dissension. Humans going to have disagreements. That's cool. But you got to understand you got to understand that we got a lot going against us. You know what I mean? And to be counterproductive, that ain't really going to get us far. And we live in a country that there has been strides made. Let's keep it real. Since, let's say, 1940, 50, there's been strides made to improve our living here. There's been strides made to improve our conditions here, but not really. Like, if I want to be optimistic, I'll say, yeah, we're integrated and shit, but if you just look at it, we just work with white folks, right? In large numbers. We just work with them. We just shop with them. We just go to the movies with them. We ain't living around them. Let's keep it real. I want y'all to do a study in any city you live in. Think about in any suburb in a predominantly white town or whatever, a white part of your town, how many black folks actually live in that environment, right? We need to keep it real. And if 10, 12 of them moved in, white folks is moving out. You know that's how it always goes, right? They move somewhere, they like it, it's cool. We come, shit changes, they bounce. You know what I mean? I'm happy to be back, man. First show of 2021. Let's get it going. All right, so shout out to the brother Deion Sanders, one of my idols. I appreciate, because we have a lot of celebrities, and I don't do the whole celebrity worship shit, right? And we have a lot of celebrities who don't give a shit about black struggle. Now, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they don't talk about it. Maybe they say, I don't want to be out in the open with my shit. I'll do stuff behind closed doors to help our people. That could be happening. We can have a lot of athletes, actors who we don't hear talking, but behind closed doors, they putting in that work. And that's cool too. But we have way too many of them who don't give a fuck. We have way too many of them who don't necessarily see the importance of having pride in what goes on. Now, like Richard was just saying, I see the difference. I know people who didn't necessarily give a shit about black struggle over the past 2 or 3 years begin to just care and pay attention more. You know what I mean? Because that's where it starts. So shout out to the brother Deion Sanders. Now, Last news story before we get into the topic for the day. I'm on a roll, man. Let's get this thing popping. God damn it. All right, now, this is on the Breonna Taylor story, which I've covered it a lot. We all familiar with Breonna Taylor. She was a young sister in her apartment. They had a no-knock warrant. They bust in there, shot her boyfriend. Well, I'm sorry, shot her. Her boyfriend shot one of the officers. Nobody got really charged. One officer was fired for he was charged with some wanton endangerment shit, which was a slap in the face because he was charged for shooting into the other apartment. Whatever. So, recently, this was as of today actually, 2 Louisville, Kentucky officers involved in the fatal shooting of Breonna Taylor during the execution of a no-knock warrant last year have been officially terminated, according to a spokesperson for the Louisville Metro Police Department. Now, Detective Joshua James, who secured the warrant for the March 13th drug raid, and Detective Miles Crossgrove, who fired the shots at Taylor, according to investigators, received termination letters signed by Police Chief Yvette Gentry. The pair learned that they would be fired on Tuesday. Now, the detectives are the second and third cops connected to the raid to be fired from the department. Former officer Brent Hankinson was fired in June. He was charged. That's the guy who was charged with wanton endangerment for firing bullets that entered an adjacent apartment. Now, yeah, it goes into talking about how Breonna Taylor, who she was, why she died. This is the part I want to read to everybody on what they mentioned during the termination letters, right? Because if any of us would have done this, just a civilian would have done any of these things, you're going to jail, right? So this is just showing how police unions and shit protect these officers right now. In the termination letter to James, Gentry wrote, yep, that's true. Now, in the termination letter to James, Gentry wrote that he had violated department policy. She goes on to say the evidence in this case revealed a sustained untruthfulness violation based on information included in an affidavit completed by you and submitted to a judge. The letter reads, "It is my decision to terminate your employment based on that evidence." James had not personally verified that a drug trafficking suspect was receiving mail at Taylor's address. In seeking the warrant, he did not reveal to the judge that he had not had contact with the U.S. Postal Inspector. He was not on the scene on the night of the raid. The department found that Crossgrove violated the use of force policy and failed to turn on his body camera. Investigators found that Crossgrove fired 16 shots into the apartment, striking Taylor twice. So wait a goddamn minute. So what we're saying is they were wrong for what they did, right? What kind of bullshit is this, man? Again, so they're wrong for what they did. If any of us go to court for any of the shit I have listed here, that if we did any of this as a civilian in society, we're going to jail, family. We're going to jail, flat out. You know what I mean? So again, these type of incidents continuing to show us that we don't mean shit is setting a horrible precedence for everyone watching, family. Everyone watching. If you black, this lets you know, damn, they break in my house and shoot me, and this is some shit I be thinking, okay, look, if they break in my house, I mean, maybe I should just start shooting. Maybe I should just start shooting too. I mean, shit, if you're going to kill me, maybe, but at least I can get a couple of them. What kind of shit is this? What is this showing for other cops? What is this showing other cops? So you say, look, boom, I'm a cop. If I got to kill somebody out here, if I got to commit murder out here, worst case scenario, I'm going to just lose my job. I'm going to just get fired. What if you knew at your job you can do the worst possible crime? Right? You can kill somebody on your job. You can rob somebody on your job. Whatever your job is, you working at Taco Bell, goddammit. What if you knew if I clear out the register, they just gonna fire me? If I clear out the register, all I'm gonna do is get fired? You mean think about this in logic, regular American terms. If you did the worst thing, because to me as a cop, the worst fucking thing you could do is kill somebody that's innocent. Period. Right? Right? Let's think about the logic of this shit. What if on your job, you knew motherfuckers who was going in the cash register, clearing it out, getting fired? No jail time, getting fired, or even suspended. Why would you not want to do what? Why would you hesitate when you were if you were in a position to do the same thing, right? So the precedents that all of this shit sets is horrible. Even we got to think about our kids too. That's why I have a 13-year-old son that live in my house. My older kids are out the house. They're grown now, basically. I have a 13-year-old son who lives in my house. We talk to him about all of these different incidents that take place because as black folks, we need to realize that a lot of us are dealing with how everything happens to us in this country. That can be a defeating mechanism. Like that can make you feel like you not nothing. So you got to go out and buy hella Jordans. That can make you feel like you not worth it. So you just gonna go out and procreate and do whatever the fuck you want to do. You see what I'm saying? We need to see these kind of incidents and pull our kids to the side like, no. Let me break down the context of this situation for you so we can still have pride afterwards. So we can understand we living in a broken system. Like Breonna Taylor didn't do nothing wrong. We shouldn't be villainizing this woman. We shouldn't be feeling so unhopeful that if something like this happens to us, we're going to be in the same situation. So we need to talk to our kids about the history of this country and kind of contextualize what they're looking at so they don't go out into the world and think they ain't shit. So they don't go out to the world and think nobody cares about me anyways. This country don't care about me anyway, so I ain't going to be shit. So I'm going to go to the hood and I'm going to kill motherfuckers. I'm going to live a volatile lifestyle because society has shown us time and time again that they don't really fuck with us like that. You know what I mean? Think about the psychology of that, of what you was taught in school. Think about the history you was taught in school. Think about how they was teaching you a slave. Think about how we grew up in this country and we didn't have no black TV shows. Think about how we didn't have no representation of us in a positive manner on TV or in media. You know what I mean? So we need to realize the importance of unpacking all of this bullshit that we go through in this country. If you don't, you may end up hating yourself. You may end up hating your black skin. Why do you think some black men run to white women, run to people outside, black men and women? Sometimes they thinking, man, look, I need to get rid of this black skin, goddammit. I need to procreate with somebody and get me a little light-skinned safe baby. You know what I mean? This shit is deep, man. So we need to, as adults, we need to be aware of all this shit and figure out how to unpack this shit because this country, unfortunately, family, don't really give a shit about you. Now, that's fine. Like, you don't need to think that and get down about it or get down on yourself or feel hopeless. No. Figure out what you can do to help. Fuck the government. What can you do to help your people specifically? You know what I mean? So that's the vibe I'm on. That's what we need to realize when we read these stories. It's not about feeling hopeless or feeling like there's nothing that we can do. Yeah, Richard, that's real game right there, man. That's why I've been so hard on Benjamin Crump. Because like 3 months ago, I went at his ass and the video got a lot of views and shit. That's not my goal, to get hella views going at motherfuckers. But I was upset. I'm like, goddamn, what is you, a settlement lawyer? You know what I mean? But I watched the brother in the interview and he was trying to explain how he's basically just getting what he can. Like, if you don't want to bring nobody to jail, I'm going to do what I can for the family. But the family accept this money, just like you said, Richard. They accept this money. Now ain't nobody going to jail. See? So we in a catch-22 almost because, Richard, we got to be honest. A lot of these families is families that ain't made nothing but $40,000 a year max probably in their whole life. You see what I'm saying? So if we dealing with families that's under the poverty line, we need to be honest, it's going to be extremely difficult. So under the poverty line and don't necessarily have a ideology of empowerment or don't group think. See, I group think, meaning When I make decisions, I'm thinking about the whole black community. When I say shit, I'm thinking about the whole black community, right? So certain families, I think, Richard, don't really have an understanding of how that works. Instead of saying, you kill my son, never bring me. I want a lawyer that don't take settlements. Benjamin Crump, yeah, I'm going to hire your player, but we don't want no money. We want, nigga, we want jail time, nigga, or blood. You know what I mean? One or the other. Fuck that shit. Period. Because I don't want to incite violence or speak anything into existence. But imagine this, right? Imagine this. Black teenager dies, gets shot by the hands of a cop, right? His father finds the cop and kills him. The father's going to go to jail. That's true. It happens again. Cop kills black person. Cop ends up dead somehow. Like, dude, sometime, right, if you're dealing with a bully, right? If you're dealing with the opposition, and they got guns, and they blasting, and you got goddamn, they got guns, and you got Bibles in your fist. You're gonna lose, family. You're gonna lose, family. You're gonna lose. We got all these people getting on TV after something happens to their family member. Oh, I forgive the officer. I forgive. That's why on that same show where I was talking about Benjamin Crump, I had to go at Christianity a little bit because it has crippled our people. Like, it has put us in this docile state of mind, which I think was all a goddamn design, where we get into a situation and we don't want to fight. I'm like, dude, if we ain't willing to fight, who the fuck gonna leave you alone if you ain't willing to fight? You know what I mean? So the Breonna Taylor situation is continue getting worse. It's continue getting worse. She's not gonna get no justice. I just seen a news report a few days ago. I forgot what black person they killed. That officer ain't gonna get brought up on any charges. So look, man, we all we got. How about that? How about we realize, okay, the black person sitting next to me, I kind of need this motherfucker because ain't no system finna come help us. You see what I'm saying? So all of this is more reason, all of this is more reason for us to come together. All of this is more reason for us to understand the power of unity and how this system was designed to separate us from the war on drugs, from the disbanding of all of our revolutionary groups in the 60s, from the prison industrial complex. Like, if you don't think there's an all-out attack on your black ass, then we ain't looking at the same shit. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, Breonna Taylor does not get any justice, and we knew that. But yeah, that's why after I did that show, Richard, I was telling people how important it is to know who the prosecutors are. Because Daniel Cameron, the prosecutor in that area, he is a politician, bro. He's a politician, and this is what I feel. I feel if you're a prosecutor, and let's say you send 2 officers to jail for 25 to life, that may be the death of your political career. If not death threats, if not some motherfuckers really trying to kill you, right? So again, if Daniel Cameron had a group think ideology, he would be like, nah, I'm black first. Before I'm attorney general, before I'm a lawyer, before I'm a politician, I'm black first. So I gotta do what's right for my people. Because what he presented to the grand jury, I think, to charge in the Breonna Taylor case, he presented that wanton endangerment bullshit. He presented that. You know what I mean? And man, look, we got a lot of work to do because you begin to see that just because somebody black, all skin folk ain't kin folk. You know what I mean? Just because they got black skin don't mean they fuck with you like that. And that's the bottom line. You know what I mean? So let's get into the topic of the day real quick, family. So that's it for the news stories. I hope something comes of the Breonna Taylor case, like a silver lining at least, right? But who knows, family? So, on to the topic of the day. So like I was saying, I think it's particular things that we need to get rid of. Like things that we was doing in 2020, it's important that we realize the importance of getting rid of some of this shit. It's important that we realize going into 2021, of course, we need to have if you want to do New Year's resolutions or whatever you do to get yourself fired up for the next year, there's things we need to do as a community so we can help ourselves moving forward, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a few things that I think we need to get rid of going into 2021. You feel me? So, and this is in no particular order. I have like 3 or 4 things here, but it's in no particular order. There isn't one over the other. This is just all shit we need to be aware of and how we need to treat each other and how we need to move forward, right? So let's get it popping. Now, first thing I think that we need to stop doing going into 2021. First thing we need to stop doing, right? Now, when it comes to the cancel culture, right? When it comes to this culture where somebody say something wrong, somebody misspeak, somebody have a moment of weakness, right? Somebody have a perceived moment of weakness. We jump on their back. We talk about how we canceling them. We talk about how they need to get the fuck out of here. Look, family, do you know we don't really have the ability to cancel anybody? Do you know that's like a fake way of thinking? Who the fuck are we to cancel anybody, right? Right? And this is, a lot of times, this is people we don't even know. Some of these celebrities, some of these actors, you don't even know this motherfucker. How you gonna get on your social media dogging some celebrity or dogging somebody in the public eye and you don't even know them? You don't even, and sometimes we don't even seek necessary context. That's what alarms me, is that we're not even seeking out context to get a clear understanding of what's going on. All of us got phones. All of us got the ability to research shit, and we ain't even using it. You know what I mean? Let's keep that shit real. The internet is a beautiful place. You can connect with people across the world. You can do things like this. You can get information instantaneously. You can research whatever you want to research. You can stay connected with everybody in your family. Like, it brings some beautiful resources, right? But for the most part, this shit ain't real. Like, when you're looking on the internet of what's be going on with everybody, we don't know what's real or what's fake, family. That's why we need to back the fuck up, mind our business, and just because you got the ability to comment, just because you got the ability to go in somebody's comments and say something, don't mean you should, right? Because I treat the internet like everybody I'm talking to online is right in my face. That's how I balance it out, right? That's my little secret. Because if I'm not going to say you ain't shit in your face, I'm not going to say it online. If I'm not going to talk down to you in your face, I'm not going to do it online. I treat everybody like you in my face. And if it's a celebrity on my show, I use news stories to catapult bigger situations that are going on or bigger conversations that we need to have. Not to tear nobody down. You know what I mean? Because some of this shit, understanding that we live in a society today where everything is open. Like, everybody's business is in the streets. There's hella interviews and everybody's sharing information, right? That still don't mean some of this shit is your business, right? So focus on your family. Focus on the shit you got going on. Don't worry about what's going on with celebrities and shit. Be entertained by it. Peep it. See what's going on. But canceling people, going hella hard at people you don't know, stop all that shit. Worry about yourself. You feel me? Next thing we need to make sure we do going into 2021, right? And I talk about this a lot because it's important to me. It's important part of my important part of my platform. What else we need to do going into 2021? We need to make it a point to make sure we are reading, not just ourselves, but our children. We need to make it a point to read to our kids. We need to make it a point that our kids are reading books. Like, more than half of the black inmates in prison, like 60 to 70% of the black inmates in prison are illiterate, right? So you can directly link not being able to read to doing crime or doing some real foul shit on the streets. You know what I mean? So not only can it help your vocabulary, but it's also a great way just to learn about shit. Like, it's a great way to teach your kids about history. You can get them books about history, smaller books, bigger books, whatever the case may be. But we all need to expand how we think. We all need to expand our palette as far as how we communicate. Because also, if you've ever been to any hood in America, a lot of fights, a lot of disagreements take place at times, not all the time, but a lot of fights, a lot of disagreements take place because dudes can't communicate with each other. They don't have a they don't have a set way of communicating, so they use profanity, they use anger, they use violence because they don't know how to communicate. You know what I mean? Like, if you had a mouthpiece, if you had a mouthpiece, you'd be able to calm down and diffuse the situation sometimes. You see what I'm saying? So and that's another thing when we talk about the whole cancel culture and how we need to use context when we look at what's going on with people. That's why it's important for us to read. You know what I mean? Read several articles. If you see an article about something going on in with a person that you like or an incident that has taken place, read one article to get a perspective, find another one, get another perspective, find another one so you can get another perspective, right? You need to get a clear understanding of what the fuck is going on. You need to get a clear understanding of what you're looking at. You see what I'm saying? And the only way you can do that at times is reading. If you are the kind of person who says, I don't want to read shit, you're going to get fucked over. It's going to be a lot of stuff going on in your life, whether it be a contract, whether it be something else, you're going to get fucked over. Yes, you're right, Richard. A lack of education brings on a lot of negative things, and we need to be real with that. Like I'm understanding how college can be necessary, but a kid can go to a trade school. There's different things to do after college, so I don't just tell a kid just go to college. But further education, people who further their education after high school, they make more money than those who don't. That's like the bottom line, right? So we need to make reading cool. We need to make education cool. Think about that. Think about if some rappers rapped about the books they read, right? That should be cool in the hood. Think about if we was walking around with shirts with the books with a recent book we read on the shirt. Made that type of shit fly. You know what I mean? So in 2021, family, we need to reconfigure what's cool in our community. We need to reconfigure what's working. Because we need to be honest, whether we're dealing with racism, whether we're dealing with, you're damn right, Richard, whether we're dealing with racism, whether we're dealing with any level of injustice, educating yourself on any of this is going to improve your perspective on it. It's going to improve how you see things. You see what I'm saying? And researching is reading. Like, you can't get away from that because I think, like, I know some adults who avoid paperwork, right? Who avoid documents and things that have, and I be thinking sometimes, damn, this motherfucker ain't literate. You know what I mean? Because we gotta be real. We gotta be real about our lineage in this country, and we got grandfathers and grandmothers and great grandfathers who couldn't fucking read. So if they didn't read, they ain't teach they son or daughter to read, which could be your mom or dad. You see what I'm saying? Like, we need to be, and when it comes to the reading shit too, they say you want to hide something from a nigga, hide it in the book. That's funny, but I think ultimately, some of us just haven't got out of that mentality that, shit, we couldn't read for a while. Think about that. They don't allow us to read. Like the language and the English that we speak, it was so broken because we learned how to speak English from fucking Southern hillbillies. You know what I mean? So read something. If it's a magazine, read a magazine. Read a newspaper. Ain't that a trip? My boy Richard said that rich people have large libraries, poor people have large TVs. You're goddamn right. And that makes sense. Allowing TV to control how you think, allowing TV to educate you. It's just entertainment. You know what I mean? It's just entertainment. They call the channels programming for a reason. You know what I mean? So get some books for your kids. That's number 2 right there. Get some books for your kids. Get some books for yourself. Read books about Black history. Read books about psychology. Educate yourself, family. You know what I mean? College can teach you a lot, but self-teaching is an important commodity. Like, you need to be able to teach yourself. Learn things on your own. You know what I mean? Now, next thing we need to stop in 2021, right? We need to, in 2021, well, this is something we need to do in 2021. In 2021, we need to never stop the campaign to convert our street soldiers. And let me tell you what I mean by that. We have a lot of young brothers in the streets, and we complain about how they treat each other. I'm one of those people. I think killing another black man because of where he's from, or because of a woman, or pride, or money, or ego. All of these things are extremely unproductive, right? We understand this. But what do? Like, we need to realize these young brothers come from fatherless homes. These young brothers have fathers and uncles and brothers who was the victim of the war on drugs. These young brothers have moms and aunties who was a victim of the war on drugs as well because they was on crack cocaine. You know what I mean? So we need to be... That's why I'm real understanding with my young brothers. Instead of just saying, stop selling that dope, stop killing each other, y'all need to... Well, no. We need to realize what they up against and approach them with this information. Right? Because we do understand that the shit needs to stop. We do understand that we battled in racism. We battled in all these other injustices that we have to deal with in this country. And if we're killing each other for nonsense, then that's counterproductive. But it's all about the approach that you take, right? So we need to realize that the system has done a number on us and our people, but so have we, right? Like we all know certain men who don't necessarily participate in their kids' lives and these type of things. We need to realize that if you're a man who don't participate in your kid's life, if you're a man who don't see fit to spend time with your kid, you could be creating a monster. You could be creating a young man who don't give a shit about life, so he gonna go out and do whatever he gotta do to get money. He gonna be real comfortable packing a gun and shooting that motherfucker. Because like I said several weeks ago, if you ever shot a Glock handgun or something bigger, it's a violent ass act to shoot a pistol. So if we have a young man shooting that at somebody over money, shooting it at somebody over respect, something's going on mentally that will allow him to do that shit that easy, right? But at the same time, this is our warrior class. Some of the things that they're willing to do as far as their courage is concerned, we got niggas in corporate America we got politicians and a lot of men in our society who won't bust a grape in a food fight. So these guys are necessary. These guys are necessary in our development. So we can't banish them and say, nah, just get out the way. Fuck y'all. We need to be able to use them, right? So this is our warrior class to a degree, but they have to be developed. They have to be nourished. We can't just look at them and blame them for what we've all had to, you know what I mean? Blame them for what society has done to them, including fathers, including mothers, including all of us. You know what I mean? So let's do what we can to help these young men, and that's educating them on history. That's meeting them where they are, not acting like we better than them. You know what I mean? Because constantly in my city, we constantly having young dudes kill each other over street culture, killing each other over pride, over women, all these different things. And I hear black people talking about them like they ain't shit. Oh, look at these niggas. Well, no. That's us. That's your sons. That's your cousin. That's your... No. That's us, right? How many of us got these young dudes in our family and we ain't telling them shit about their lifestyle? You ain't got to preach to them, but you got to let them know, oh, come on, man. What is this worth? What are you getting out of this? You know what I mean? So we need to continue to try to convert our street soldiers and make sure we find a way to make them regular members of society. So they don't end up getting killed early. They don't end up doing some stupid shit at 17 or 18. So now they're doing 20 years in jail. You know what I mean? To me, that's all of our problems. We can just look at their parents. Yes, they should have a mom and dad who care about them, who help them out. That's true. But at the end of the day, like, it takes a village. So we all should be concerned about these young men and figure out a way to use that energy for something positive. Like, use that warrior spirit they got to help us. Think about if all the gangs in America said, we ain't killing nobody black no more. We going after George Zimmerman ass. We ain't killing nobody black. We going after them cops that shot Breonna Taylor. Think about how that would change the psyche of America, right? So we need to understand, like, the power that we actually have, but we give that shit away when we just harm each other. You know what I mean? So converting our street shoulders is definitely important. Now, next and last thing I think we need to focus on in 2021, because we've made strides in doing this in 2020, but I think in 2021, we need to make it a point to kind of drive this point home and all of us get on the same page, family. So we need a continued code of conduct, family. Now, I know a lot of black folks, because of the police shootings, because of Donald Trump, a lot of black people I know who in the past wasn't necessarily displaying black pride, I can say it that way. Now they see the importance of empowering each other. They see the importance of staying together. They see the importance of all this shit, right? And that's a good thing. But we need to continue on that path. And what is being on code? Being on code is not hurting nobody black. Being on code is making sure you shop at a black business. Being on code, if you're a black man in the neighborhood, you're going to protect the neighborhood to the best of your ability. You ain't got to be on no Superman shit, but if you see certain things going down, you got to stop it. You see women being treated a certain way, you got to stop it. You know what I mean? All those things are a part of being on code. Being on code is figuring out the best way to help your community. Whether you can be a mentor, whether you can volunteer at an organization that's around, whether it be picking up trash off the street. Like I was saying, my boy Sylvester Ware, who runs Black Father Nation, he started his organization by literally picking up trash in the Minnesota area, right? Going to certain neighborhoods, going to certain parks that are underprivileged, or certain parks that are poverty-stricken, and picking up trash, right? So this is a simple thing, but all of us can do this kind of shit. Like, all of us can help out in a particular way. You just have to choose how you want to help out. And that's for all of us. How we treat our women, how we support black businesses, how we try to start businesses with other black people, how we try to commune with other black people. I think that's why a lot of our community go to church, because in church what you do have is a fellowship of people who think of like-minded people who are attempting to move in a particular direction. You know what I mean? That's necessary for all of us. So in 2021, family, we need to get a code of conduct, how we treat each other, how we treat our women, how we treat what we see about each other, opposed to being so judgmental about some shit, opposed to doing this cancel culture shit like I was just talking about. In the black community, we don't really got time to be canceling nobody when we constantly getting canceled by society. You know what I mean? So 2021, man, we're going to stop the cancel culture. We're going to make sure we get into education and start reading, start researching things, start being contextual about the shit that we look at. We're going to convert all of the young men in our community who are having a hard time ingratiating themselves into society. They're having a hard time finding a job. They're having a hard time leaving that street shit alone. We're going to help them in 2021. You feel me? We're going to figure out a way to help them get a job. We're going to figure out, because if you can't feed somebody, it's going to be hard to lead somebody, like my boy Bobby Glantine say. You see what I'm saying? So we talking about, hey, get off the street, hey, stop. Well, if his only means to an end is what he knows in the street, we're going to have to figure out a way to change his mentality. We're going to find a way to change his mentality about how he views himself, about how he views the community around him. And I think once we do that, he'll be more inclined to change his ways. But you got to show him better than you can tell him. You know what I mean? So we're going to convert all of our street shoulders. Then we're going to figure out a way to continue to be on code. We are being forced to be on code to a degree with all the shit that continuously happen in our community, and that's a good thing. That's why I think Donald Trump is a good thing. That fucking, them racist white motherfuckers running up in the Capitol building, that's a good thing, family. Some of us need to be slapped in the face to see what kind of country we live in. Some of us are a little asleep to the fact that it's racist as hell out here, to the fact that at any moment you can be a hashtag. You see what I'm saying? And I don't want something to happen to somebody in your family. Something happened to somebody in your family by the hands of a cop, by the hands of something that has to do with this system, and then you turn to being more revolutionary. Then you turn to Karen. How about we start now? How about if a black man gets killed in Alabama, that's your brother? That's how I feel. Breonna Taylor is my sister. She all of our sisters. That's all of us, right? It's a group think. You're right, Richard. Too goddamn comfortable. It's a group think mentality. Like just shopping, watching TV. You gotta nourish your body, like just like you nourish your body with food, like you supposed to eat certain foods, supposed to exercise, supposed to do all this shit. Same thing with your mind, family. What are you putting in your mind? Trash? You watching 11 hip hop all day? That's the kind of shit you consuming all day? That's the type of mentality you're gonna have, family. I'm sorry to tell you. So you gotta put put the type of shit in your brain that's going to help you, that's going to empower not just you, but all of us. That's why reading is important. That's why understanding what's going on in politics to a degree is important, but just loving your people is the most important thing. You feel me? So in 2021, man, we going to get this thing right. This COVID shit got us all locked down. Use this as an opportunity to empower yourself. Whether, like I said, if that's reading, if that's getting close with family members, if that's cleaning your house out, if that's finding a new job, if that's finding a business you can start, figure out ways to empower yourself before it's too late. Because none of us know how much time we actually got in this motherfucker, right? And nobody want to be an older person who lives with regrets, who is telling people about what they should have did, who they should have been. No, none of that shit. Do it now. You want to get something popping? Start tomorrow. You feel me? So look, man, this has been another episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. I want to thank everybody who came in and checked everything out. This episode will be on YouTube tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page, Richard, do me a favor, family. Go to Melanated Fathers TV on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube page. I have this show on there. I have a History Matters section on there where I talk a lot about different times in history. I'm going to get some other segments popping on the YouTube channel. So y'all continue to support what I've been doing, man. I'm really excited about what this year is going to hold for all of us. We just need to continue to be on code. We need to continue to love each other and continue to move forward in a positive manner. Like, continue to think positive, family. If you want to avoid depression, if you want to avoid negative situations in your life, think positive. Think glass half full. You know what I mean? Always think positive. Always try to put that's what's up, man. Maybe we can do something. Maybe we can put together something, because on my YouTube channel, I want to eventually put together like short movie type, like scripted series about like young fathers and what they have to go through with buying Pampers and trying to be a young black man in a society where, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out a way to continue to bring light to how we need to be as men, right? Because we understand what this system has done to us, Richard, but if all of us can do our best to be in-home fathers, if we were to, if over the next 3 or 4 years, if that 70%, because right now it's single, I'm in Sacramento, Richard, because right now it's like 70% single parent homes, right? If we get that down to like 20%, 30%, think about how that's going to impact our families. Think about how that's going to impact the entire community, right? You know what I mean? So that's why I'm so big on fatherhood. That's why my whole platform is Melanated Fathers, because I understand the importance of our kids being in our home. I'm a black man with 5 kids. 4 of my kids do not live with me. They had to come to my house on the weekends. I had to pay child support. I put their moms through hella shit. Like it was a raggedy ass situation that I caused. You know what I mean? So it's important to me because I know a lot of brothers who didn't do it like that. I know a lot of brothers who got one woman. They got kids with this one woman. Life is simpler that way. Like, we need to get rid of this whole baby mama shit. Like, we have all these rappers and all these entertainers, regardless of how much money you got. If you got hella kids all over town, that shit's raggedy, bro. That shit ain't gonna help nobody. Ask your kids, regardless of how much money you got. Ask your children, do they like going from mama house back to daddy house? 2 sets of rules, 2 sets of adults. Nobody want that shit. So we need to slow the fuck down and make sure our children know how important it is to move slow, how important it is to protect your seed. That's all we got, family. Protect your seed. Don't be spreading your seed all willy-nilly. Nah. Relax. You're right. Going back to the plantation shit, Richard, we were bucks. Some of us, I was at one time too, out here operating like bed bucks. You know what I mean? You just sticking your dick everywhere. You need to relax, family. You need to relax and understand how we are already up against the 8 ball in this country. So if we put ourselves in these adverse situations, it's going to be worse for us. You see what I'm saying? So it's been a great episode, man. I appreciate everybody tuning into the show. This is the first episode of 2021. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that. Please go to please go to Melanated Fathers TV on YouTube. I am going to be, my website, melanatedfathers.com, is being reconstructed right now. That'll be back up shortly on the website. You can get information about Black history. I put news stories on the website, articles about parenting, book of the month. Everything we've been talking about here is kind of a culmination of all these things on the website, which will be back up and running in a few weeks. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show, man. This has been another great episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. I'm out.